So there's this whole debate about modern feminism and traditional values, and people on the right want to kind of be more traditional conservatives. People on the left are being, woke, feminist, all that. This isn't a political thing. This is more an ideological thing, but it certainly is a factor in relationships. So the days of being your traditional housewife is sort of being marginalized and frowned upon these days, especially by women. Women are making more money than ever. They're getting more education than ever. More power to you. But I feel like there's been waves of feminism. So I think we're in the middle of fourth wave feminism, but a lot of women these days are basically pushing back and saying that fifth wave feminism will be sort of a return to traditional values. So check out this clip right here of this traditional housewife.
This video is women saying, "Oh, this is such a horrible lifestyle. I would never want this for myself. I think it's disgusting that you take on this submissive role for your husband." All
Let's
these
restart
different
this video,
complaints
Joe.
toward this woman, and it's okay. Video that has people going insane on the internet with over 11 million views. While the world continues to condemn traditional wives, she's cleaning, she's cooking, making muffins, lots of food, perfume, makeup, cooking some more. She's saying, "I'll continue to live my truth." That is the video that has people going crazy. A lot of the hate that she's getting on this video is women saying, "Oh, this is such a horrible lifestyle. I would never want this for myself. I think it's disgusting that you take on this submissive role for your husband." All these different complaints toward this woman. And it's okay that women feel that way. If it's not the role that you want in your life, then don't do it. We as women have an abundance of choices all laid out in front of us. And some of us choose to go down the career path and higher education and all these different things. Others go and choose to be trad wives. So let's watch this.
Yeah. So obviously that is sort of like a caricature of like a wife in the 50s, like Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, basically those kind of vibes. But I fully agree with I forget her name, but she's awesome. I think she's on PragerU. See if you can pull up her name real quick in the video. She's great. She's got a lot of good takes. And she's basically saying that women have options in their career. See if you can find that name, Joe. Yeah, Amala. She's awesome. And women have choices in the career. And this is why I think a question that I hear all the time is, who has it harder, men or women? And I say, well, on the surface, men have it harder. We got to work. We got to break our back. We got to bring home the bacon. We got to do all the fucking tough jobs out there, whether it's the plumber or the trash man or all the tough jobs out there. Construction workers are done by men. But if you go below the surface, I kind of think women have it harder because what I like is clarity. Women, there's so much unclarity of what women should do with their lives these days. Should you go get educated? Should you be a CEO? Should you be a boss babe? Or should you skirt, do a 180 and be a traditional wife? And I think that women have life options. Men, we do not have life options. We got one fucking job. Get out there and make money. I don't know too many dudes that are like dressing up, putting on their hair together. They're baking. If you show me a dude like that, it's like, what just happened to this guy? What's going on right there? They're what?
They're trans.
They're trans. That was guy right there. So men really don't have life options, but the more success they have in life, the more options they have with women. That's my take on that. So Angela, I know you've been pretty outspoken about how basically women need to stop competing with men. You kind of got to revert back to your feminine energy, let the masculine energy kind of do their thing. When you see a video like this that's sort of emphasizing more traditional women, do you think women are ever going to return back to, being in the kitchen, cooking and cleaning, or is the boss babe, CEO vibe taking over for good?
I think we live in like a modern society and people keep bringing this idea that we have to be entirely traditional. I think there's nuances in everything. I think it's important to have both. We do live in a modern day, and to take away and say like, I'll just go back in time like with the girl in the video and bake and clean and cook. That's something you still have to do regardless whether you're broke or poor or working or not. So that is a traditional value that everyone should have, and every man should know how to, but you should be manly enough to get a woman that wants to do it for you. So I think this idea, I was actually on a live last night and they were complaining about that. Like, just walk back in time, take back the internet. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you guys?
Yeah.
Like, this is all a privilege. It's balance. Learn how to communicate, learn how to enjoy your privileges, learn how to be a boss babe or whatever. I mean, I'm a working woman. Jedediah is a working woman. Everyone's a working woman. So why should we go back to just not working? Just turn your brain into mush and watch Teletubbies all day long?
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, if you're in a relationship and there's no commonalities, your man comes home fighting the world, whatever the hell he's doing, and he can't talk to you about whatever the hell he's going because you're into baby food and baby TV shows, there's really nothing to connect on. And I mean, like, everyone that I look up to, like Alex and Rosie, him and his girl, they're both on a mission. They both have a commonality, they both understand, and there's a balance. So, I mean, I think people are so hell-bent on it just being black or white, which is being traditional or modern. Why?
Yeah.
You still have to work.
I think that it's just a matter of kind of going to that extremist so that maybe we can pull back on some of these look down upon, traditional values.
You could do all of it.
Yeah, I think you can do all of it. I think today, especially, like, you should do all of it.
Yeah.
With, like, with AI and all this technology, like, use it to your advantage. I think when you and your significant other are, like, on a mission together, I think there's so much strength in that. Two is better than one.
Yeah.
You'll pick up the slack where, he lacks, and then he'll pick up the slack or lead you, where you need to be led. So I think that whole idea of, like, you just have to go back, like you said, and be a housewife, and that's all you do, and you provide no value other than that. Like, that's also a very shallow and, like,
it's non-realistic.
It's not realistic at all. So I think that, but I do see, like, them showing the extreme, extreme to show, like, women, like, hey, listen, like, let your man lead, like, hey, listen, women, like, it's okay if you aren't making more money than your man. I think today's time, in order to connect with certain audiences, you have to be that extreme because people won't listen if you're not. Like, look at who's blown up over these years of, like, pandemic, those extremist people, those people who are, like, saying these bold, crazy statements. And sometimes you need to hear that to be like, oh, you're actually right. I didn't think of it that way, but you're actually right. So I think having those bold people out there saying, like, extreme things that may hurt some feelings is very important to have today, because with how, like, TikTok is influencing kids. Like, imagine if we're able to influence kids with good information. Imagine if we had a TikTok that was providing good information for kids, and then now we're getting a society that's a better society because of it. So I think having those extremists are important, but I think you also have to be realistic about yourself and, like, where you are in the world.
Well, you know who's very bold and a self-proclaimed extremist?
Ooh.
My friend Brandon over there.
There he is.
That's true.
Lay down the law here, bro. What are your thoughts on this?
First of all, I don't really care what anyone else wants to do with their life. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think it's a good that women have the opportunities to go down whatever path they want. And I don't think there should be any restriction. If you want to be a housewife, sex slave, concubine, whatever, or if you want to be a boss babe, that's cool too, man. They got the option now, whereas like 100 years ago they couldn't even vote. You know what I'm saying? So it's cool that they have the option, and I don't think you should be shamed for either choice you make, right? And you can be you can do whatever you want. And now here's the thing though, it's like, why are you making that decision, right? Like, let's say a woman is at home cooking and cleaning and stuff all day. Is that what she wants to do? Or is it because, like, the guy doesn't make enough money to have a housekeeper, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, my girl don't really, she can cook and she can clean and stuff, but we got all that shit taken care of, man. They just come through, Right. My son, there was a nanny when he was born, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's, so she wanted to still work, right? So it's cool. We have a nanny during the day. I'm working, she working, come back home. It's all good, instead of sending him to daycare. I think you should have enough money where you can make whatever decision you want. Because a lot of women are working because they have to. Because they, you know what I'm saying, they have to support the family, right? They need that income, or, you know what I'm saying, or maybe the husband won't let her work. You know what I'm saying? I don't think that any kind of, like, imposed restriction is bad. I think you should make whatever decision you want, but are you making that decision because you want to or because you have to? You know what I'm saying?
I'll tell you this. I hear what you guys are saying, and I know you're like, listen, I don't care what you do, and to an extent, yeah, it's not. I don't care what you do, but then there's a part of me that's like, I kind of do care. I tell you, and I'll tell you why. Because you're 40.
Yeah.
I'm 42. I know a lot of girls okay, I'm speaking to the ladies out there. I know a lot of girls who were catches beyond catches. Okay, they were the baddest girls in high school. They were the baddest girls in college. Then they did their little hoe phase thing in their 20s, and they were partying, and they moved to New York, and they were living their best life, and they're having fun. Next thing you know, they're 30. Oh, shit. Homegirl's 30 now. All right, you got a man? No, not yet. I'm still living my life. All right, cool. And now I run into these girls in Miami. And there's a big difference between Brandon 40, Adam 42, out in the club doing our thing, and Stacy out there who's still 42, out in the club. I'm like, baby, what the fuck are you still doing out here? Yeah. She's like, I'm just looking for my man. It's like, you should have married that guy 15 years ago or 10 years ago. And I'll tell you why that affects it, because you see the stat all the time from Morgan Stanley, what the article they did called the she economy, not the economy, but the she economy. And they basically say that, I say this quote all the time, 45% of working women by 2030, which is in 7 years, 45% of working women between the ages of 25 and 45 are going to be unmarried, single, no kids. And to me, like, that is an unfulfilling life. So now I see these girls, right? And I see you nodding your head. Now I see these girls who are my age, late 30s, early 40s, and they know what I do. And they're like, I got to tell you, I saw what you said something, and here's what I want you to know. And here's how I feel. And I'm like, all right, well, a lot of times it's not even negative.
Yeah.
They're just like, you're kind of right. I really should have da-da-da-da-da. And my one girl, homegirl, baddie of all baddies in high school, she is now early 40s. She doesn't have a man, and she froze her eggs, and she's having a kid with herself. And to me, when you're like, oh, I don't really care what you do, to the greater situation, I guess, but for friends, for the benefit of society, for just generally caring about people, I think that women would be happier if they basically had a family and had a husband and had kids. I'm not saying you need to be marvelous Mrs. Maisel over here and fucking be cooking and cleaning like you're like my grandma in the 1950s, but it is to an extent of like when you're pursuing a career and you're getting an education, you're striving for greatness and you're competing with men, it's like all of a sudden you become the man that you want to marry. And next thing you know, you're 42 years old, you got 3 cats, no kids, by yourself, a couple dildos, a great dildo collection, fantastic. All right? But I feel like that's an unhappy, unfulfilling life.
But we live in New York. We know women who we know women who are successful in their own right, who have a husband and kids. So right, like it's not binary.
Can I touch it on that?
Yeah, but hold on, real quick.
Yeah.
It's not binary, right? You know women. I don't know
that many women.
Okay.
Sure, we can kind of give some case examples. I'm sure, right? And we can bring, but I don't know that many women that are crushing it in business, but also great mothers, great wives. Something's got to give.
It's too.
I just don't think it's binary.
It's too hard to do both.
Yeah. Like you
imagine if me. Here I am running a financial firm, hedge fund. On the side, I'm doing fucking podcasts. We're trying to go Valuetainment, but also I'm babysitting all day, every day.
Raising kids is
I'm
hard.
never going to do that.
Yeah.
What's that?
Raising kids is hard.
It's a very hard job to do. Respect, salute to the mothers that are hands-on.
Especially when you have multiple kids.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. My son's mom, she makes over 6 figures. She's doing really great, and I'm not even fucking there. Right? They live in a different state, and she's doing great. You know what I'm saying?
Right, but there's
and there's a bunch of other examples too.
There's strength in a 2-parent household.
For sure, our shit didn't work for a different reason.
Correct.
Though, right?
But when you grow up in a household where you have both parents, you learn also dynamics on the roles that men and women play. And as you grow up, I think it's important that you grow up and you see that.
But we would have that if me and her got along, right? It wasn't her work that stopped us, that made us get divorced, right?
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? Like we were set up to have that, right?
Yeah. Right. But I think what I'm getting at is just that role of a man being present in the home as well as a woman being present in the home. You have your friend who's, God bless her, she's going to have a baby. That's amazing. Women give birth.
Not birthing people?
No,
just women?
Women.
Oh, okay.
Just women give birth.
Right.
But then it's like, okay, well, now you're going to have this beautiful baby, but now you have all these roles you have to run by yourself. Now you don't have a male influence in the home. Now, when, of course, like, you're a dad. There's people who get divorced, and there's dad whose parents are very present in the kid's life. But my point is that when you decide to bring kids into the world, I think it's very important that they get that influence from both parents. Even if you're not in the home, like those things happen. You know, relationships don't work out, and sometimes a divorce is needed when the parents don't click well.
100%.
Especially because the kids see that. They're like, is this a healthy relationship? No, it's not.
Yeah.
But I think what I think is very, very important is that children get to see the dynamics of what a household looks like, right? What does my dad's role play, right? Where does he come in? Where does my mom come in? Well, I'm a female, so I would be looking at my mom as an example. What kind of man am I looking for, right? What kind of standards do I have? I think those things get very lost when, you know, you have a one-parent household.
You know, I think you're right, but I think that's like a different, we kind of veered off, right? You can have that and the woman can still work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know
Right,
like,
but when women are working, they are out of their kids' life in areas where they can be present. So, for
And then they
example,
need a
the kids are in
nanny,
fucking school
and they
all
lack
day,
both
bro.
of their
Like
parents.
kids are in school all day, and
Correct.
they have after school and they have sports.
Correct.
Like, what are you guys talking about?
correct.
think
But here's the
okay.
thing: then you have outside influencing raising your kids only.
Were you saying the kids shouldn't go to your school? Like after work, you pick the kids up from school.
Correct.
Like that's what my mom did. Yo, my mom, we took the bus. No, she dropped me off at school 5 in the morning, and then she got on the bus, went to work, came back, picked me up. We do homework and shit. It's all good.
Correct, but
you know, like
but
my
you
parents
also
were
have to
together.
be mindful of, though, we're not living in that time. You have kids with phones today, right? Kids are on their phones. What's going on in school, right? As a parent today, being present in your kid's life is so
But I'm saying
important.
she was present,
No,
like,
she
right
was.
after work.
Listen, no,
You know?
listen. There was a phase in my life where I grew up where my mom was a single parent. I went through that phase, and I saw my mom grind. I commend her for that. I look up to that woman. Like, when I see single mothers, I can't help but like adore them, because I'm like, I know the role you're playing. You're playing mom, you're playing dad, you're playing carpool, you're playing nanny, you're playing cooking. You're like, there's so many things, but it's a lot on a woman. It's
Yeah,
a lot,
for sure.
You know. But here's the thing: if mom didn't have certain income, right? If she wasn't making 6 figures, how would life be? It would be different.
Yeah, well,
Right?
when I grew up, my mom wasn't, right? Like, my
Correct.
parents were broke. When,
Correct.
You know, I came from South Side Chicago, right?
Yeah.
So it's you can still be present, though. Like, the kids are in school while you're at work. That's what I'm trying to say. And now, I'm not advocating for women should have to work. I'm saying it's okay to have the choice, right? Like, I personally don't like I'm glad my girlfriend don't work, because then she'll be out here trying to make decisions and shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm just joking.
You just got the side eye. Well, I think I'm gonna turn over to Angela for the last point here, but I think what Angela said was like, it's not a black and white situation.
Yeah.
Life is all about balance. If you look on one end of the extreme, it's the man's the worker, he's the provider, the woman's in the kitchen. All right, clearly we are completely past those times. There's no return to 1950s Mad Men-esque Marvelous Mrs. Maisel situation where the man works and he's bringing home all the money and the woman just stays in the kitchen all day. Those days are done. Done. But at the same time, I think we've also recognized that women, the other end of the extreme, trying to compete with men, trying to out-earn men, trying to be better than men, is a path to loneliness in a lot of cases. So it's like there needs to be some sort of balance, and it's a very nuanced conversation. And that's essentially the conversation that we're having right here. And that's essentially what you pointed out, is that it's not black and white, but women need to be aware of what's going on, but also men need to be aware of what's going on.
When I said I would even care, I meant I don't have a strong preference for people doing what they think is best for them. I don't have a preference on them, right? I didn't want it to come off like I don't care about the outcomes of humans.
No, I didn't think that you were being like
right? You know what I'm
apathetic or
saying?
anything.
I just meant like whatever you want to do and you think is best for you.
You know what, Amanda? Fight him right now.
No,
He's just
Arm wrestle now.
I'm sorry.
Angela, final word.
Off.
I think that basically what you were saying, what I said, everything requires discipline. So, I mean, if you're always going to be in your child's life, you think you're doing a great job, but by the time they're 19, 18, they're ready to get the hell out of the house. Yeah. So at the end of the day, yes, women shouldn't strive to be the leading person in the relationship. You think you have to be a CEO. That's going to be detrimental for you long term, but you still need to be actively working mentally, physically, some form of way.
Yes.
I'm never going to be the breadwinner. I've accepted that. I don't really care to be that, but I'm always going to be actively working to keep my brain sharp so that I can communicate with my partner and the world.
Correct.
So
there is a difference between striving to be the CEO,
Right.
boss babe, education, lawyer, top of the firm. There's that versus, I'm just a chick with a job.
Yeah,
I gotta work.
that's
I gotta make
important. You
money.
need the balance.
That's a very, exactly.
And it's expensive nowadays for men to just raise a family alone.
Because
like you kind of need both.
It's actually, there's a stat out there. We don't have time to go into all this, but there's a stat that a divorce attorney, a female, basically said that the unhappiest women that lead to the most divorces are just the stay-at-home moms that do nothing all day.
There's no stimulation.
They're just so focused on the kids, they forget about the husband, and next thing you know, the relationship goes to shit. So that's one end of the spectrum that is not a good look for men, if that's really what, if you're that red pill dude that's like, my woman stays home all day, she don't do shit, she don't deserve to talk. It's like, buddy, there's going to be an ugly outcome for you at the end.
There's really no female influencer out there that it's accurately influencing work life, relationship life, like a balanced life. It's always one extreme or the other. And by the time she does know it, she's like Mel Robbins. And like no one really listens to Mel Robbins because she's older, which is fucked up. But there's nothing she's saying that doesn't apply to your life at 19 that wouldn't work for you at 30, 40, 50 years old.